And we're back.
Wow, that was some impressive clicking on a button to make us go live, man.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. We were having a little technical difficulty, so Kent may leave us and come back during the show, but we decided to roll anyway.
Just assume if you don't see me on the video camera that I am dead.
Okay.
And that's the end of me.
Come back to life.
Mm-hmm. And we are still the Pretentious Movie Snobs. I'm Dave Smith, the microscopically successful screenwriter, novelist, and blogger sometimes, and we also have Kent Conrad of ExplodedGoat.com and contributor to Cinema Sentries, and we have Kimberly Blagrove, our lovely chocolate cookie portion of our Oreo, of our reverse Oreo, the silky-voiced Kimberly. We are the your was it what do I always say?
Reverse
Oreo of cinema.
Reverse Oreo.
Yep.
Highbrow, low energy. This is the movie-related podcast that has no show prep. I hope you know. So that's why they love us. No show prep.
Yeah, it's all straight off the cuff and.
Call us and leave us a voicemail, by the way, at 562-666-2067, and I will probably forget to check it, as I always do.
Have we gotten any messages yet? No?
I don't think so. I haven't checked in a few days, but I'll check it. Once again, 562-666-2067. Leave us a message. So we're going to be talking about Sunset Boulevard. We're going to go way out on a limb and talk about how great Sunset Boulevard is, because I have a hunch we all still like the movie. So
I think some of our reactions might surprise you.
Oh, or maybe not.
Or probably not. But still, I want people to listen for something.
Yeah. But if you haven't seen...
I have some contrarian views on this film.
I have one really weird, sad contrarian view that I'll share with you in a moment. Do we have any celebrity deaths or news to go over before we...
No.
I don't think so. The guy who played Nakatomi in Die Hard did die to us. James Shigoda?
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah. He was a cool actor, and he is now assumed room temperature, and we will all be seeing him very soon, I'm sure. Because we're all going to die, too.
Within the hours, I think.
Yeah. Kent's flashing, strobing again like he might jump out. So,
yeah, that's just really a freaking drag. Okay.
Anybody want to talk about any quick movies that they might have watched in between now and last? Yeah, what did you see, Kimmy? You better go because Kent just dropped off.
Yeah, he sure did. Well, I saw... well, first let's start with one I saw here, The Croupier, with Clive Owen. I was curious about that. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it, but it's a solid film. But I think there's something very cold about the movie, and they do that intentionally, and I think it left me cold. But it's a fine film.
Okay.
And then in the theater, I hadn't been into the theater in years, or it felt like years. But I watched Hercules, the Brett Ratner.
My Little Hercules.
Film. Yes, the Brett Ratner film starring Dwayne Johnson. And I had very low expectations for it because, of course, it is a Brett Ratner film. And I was pleasantly surprised. It had John Hurt. It had not the John Hurt. There are two different John Hurts. There's a really old one, and then there's one that is not as old.
Well, there's John Hurt with a T, and then John Hurd with a like a herd of cows. Or I heard he's a good actor. Yeah,
but there's
it was the younger guy, or is there another John Hurt?
There's another John Hurt. I mean, isn't the one that was in The Big Chill? Which one? No. The movie with with Kathleen Turner, The Heat, Body Heat. Isn't that John Hurt?
William Hurt.
William Hurt. That's William Hurt.
Yeah.
Okay, then no, that's
totally
fine. That's
screwed
right.
me up.
Sorry, you're right. Then it is. It's William Hurt, John Hurt, and John Hurd. It was John Hurt.
Okay, so it's John Hurt is in the movie.
John Hurt is in the movie.
Wait,
He's
which
great
one?
at playing the bad guy. Huh?
John Hurd or John Hurt?
John Hurt.
Okay.
Old.
Alien chestburster guy. That's what he's famous for.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really? Okay. See, now I'm gonna make sure I got the right person.
Yeah, if he's the Elephant Man and the chestburster, that's we're talking about. Kent, have you joined us again?
Yeah.
She's just talking about My Little Hercules.
Yeah. And again, it hit all the marks. You knew, it was predictable in what was supposed to happen, but whatever was supposed to happen it did happen. I find that, they stayed true to the screenwriting
Mhm.
format. And for that, and they did it in an enjoyable way. It's, yeah, John Hurt, Hurt. And
Okay.
they did it in a predictable but very, very entertaining way. I don't like Brett Ratner normally, but I found it to be enjoyable. I liked that they didn't force Dwayne Johnson to try a British accent, because I don't know why all people in ancient Greece have British accents, but they all seem to.
Yeah, the
And
ancient Greek sounds strikingly like British, the Queen's English. It's very weird.
yeah,
Well, in most movies, British accent just signals not from here.
Mhm.
not from here. Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Aliens, they'll have British accents. Yeah, like
Mhm.
yeah.
Klaatu, Varata, Nikto. What was that one? Dave the Earth to Steal? I think he's got a British accent.
Yeah, it was not. They didn't force him to, try to do one. It would not have worked for him. I guess he can't do one, but he was still, convincing in his performance. And he tried. He made an effort. He was enjoyable. He was great to watch. He's a likable character, and it's a great story. There was a great story about, again, living up to your full potential and being the best that you can be, and having a unit, and staying loyal to your people, and it had a very nice message. So I enjoyed it,
Cool.
surprisingly.
And would you do things with Dwayne Johnson that you wouldn't maybe do with other men? Do you think?
Oh yeah, I'd climb that mountain any day. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
He's quite. Oh my goodness, he is so big compared to all of these other characters. Like Joseph Fiennes was in that movie, and he looked like a little girl compared to Wayne Johnson. It
Oh
was
no,
like,
Kent's
oh,
going
he's gone
away.
again.
Uh,
No, he's still there. Okay, I hear him. I don't know. He's gonna go away.
okay.
Maybe you just turn your camera off, Kent.
Where's Kent? Yeah, this is gonna be. There he is. There he is. Okay, is that Dave that's gone now?
Is that better now?
Yeah, maybe
It's
that's
not
better.
as scary for everyone.
Not as scary. You're not flashing.
Yeah.
Oh no, we need to see Kent. This is no
No,
fun.
maybe it'll just help him stay if he's not.
Yeah,
Anyway,
we missed that
I'm not gonna
baby
edit this
face.
out, so we better keep talking.
Okay, sounds good. But yeah, the one that played his wife is striking. I mean, they had her in the movie for all of 2 minutes, but they really hyped her up. And it was visually it was nice to look at. Not just Dwayne, but the movie itself. And even though there were some corny scenes, I enjoyed it. So yeah.
Right on. I did not go to the theater, but I did rewatch accidentally "Can't Buy Me Love," which was on streamed it, and I got hooked again. I'm like, it's still a good movie.
It's still good?
It's great. Yeah,
Oh.
it's totally works. It's great. It's just got such a good
Oh.
setup, and it's not your average little high school romance type of movie. It's got a
Yeah.
good setup. It plays out really well, and Patrick Dempsey's really good.
I love Patrick Dempsey.
Yeah.
He aged so well too. Like he was
Yeah.
so gawky and geeky in that, and he just aged so nicely. He seems like a nice man. So
Yeah, I had to Google search to show to my wife because I had mentioned that. She says, "What? I don't really know what he looks like," because she never watched any of those Grey's Anatomy or any of those shows. So I did a Google search. She's like, "Oh my!" She got the
Yeah.
vapors.
yes, she did. He was so not hideous, but yeah, he's definitely one of those people that was a late bloomer.
Kind of the opposite of Haley Joel Osment, who's aging
Oh,
the other way. They're
you
like
see
going the other way.
Oh, the poor kid.
Poor guy.
Yeah, he's in that new movie. Did you see the trailer for that? Oh, I can't. Something about
Yeah,
him always looks so weird. Justin Long, and is in this kind of a horror. It almost looks like a remake of one of Stephen King's novels. Really creepy, like Misery. Have you seen it?
Oh, I don't know that one.
Oh, this man traps this young boy in Canada, and does these weird, torturous things to him, and all he wants to do is get out. I think cuts his legs
They
and
put
stuff.
like maple syrup on him and like Canadian bacon and like lick it off of him.
I don't think it's that kind of movie, but sure, if you want it to be.
That sounds delicious.
Did Frank go again?
Yeah, he's gone again. I binge watched season 4 of Downton Abbey. I don't know who else is. I'm totally caught up on my Downton Abbey. Are you hip to Downton Abbey?
That's very manly of you.
I'm a major Anglophile. I love all those British shows like Upstairs, Downstairs. Although I've never seen that one, but I love like Monty Python and Fawlty Towers and Absolutely Fabulous and
Fab.
Prejudice. The Colin Firth one is great. So I like all that stuff. and Downton
Yeah.
Abbey is fits right in with that. So all 4 seasons, I'm up to speed. If you have any questions,
Great.
do you have any questions?
I'm okay for now.
Oh, okay.
I'm okay for now. Thank you. Well, one question. No, but it's okay. Does your wife watch this with you, or are you on your own with it?
No, British accents put her to sleep
Yeah.
immediately.
Okay.
She cannot watch any of these things. She won't watch Faulty Towers or Monty Python. None of these. She goes immediately.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Kent's back.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
hope that lasts for more than two minutes here.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about anything you might have seen, Kent?
Oh, gosh, I didn't really see it. Just stuff I worked on. I didn't get a chance to.
Well, let's just talk. Yeah, you want to just talk about
Let's
Sunset
jump right
Boulevard
into
before you
Sunset
go away?
Yeah. Okay. So Sunset Boulevard, I will do a synopsis of it. Is a movie from the 50s. It doesn't have any colors or anything. Sorry. It's like
Well, it's got
black,
two. It's got black and
white.
white. Yeah.
I guess you
gray.
could say there's a gray or
Black and
two
white.
there. Yeah. About people who make black and white movies. See, it's all like connected stuff. They could have made it in color if they really wanted to. They could do that in the 50s. So it's about a screenwriter who is on his last legs, who is just hoping to be able to keep his car long enough to get himself to the bus station to get the hell out of Dodge because his friends in high places don't want anything to do with him. His agent doesn't want to talk to him. He's kind of at the end of his rope, and he accidentally turns into the driveway on Sunset Boulevard of former star Norma Desmond, silent star, who's nuts. But
Yeah.
he finds an opportunity there to insinuate himself into his life and finds out he's bit off a lot more than he could chew. He's got a lot more than he bargained for. He is in trouble.
Yeah. Big time.
Mhm.
Do you want to kick off talking about it, Kent, or should we let Kimmy go since she picked this movie?
Let's let Kimmy get it started, and then I'll just disappear.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
Kent will go
will.
away. Kent will go bye-bye for a while.
I'm sure you'll come back. It's been so long since I've seen this movie, so I just wanted to see if it still held up, if it would still hold up, and it does. It for a movie that was, I guess, in the 1950s. I think it was 1950 exactly. It is so modern in the telling of its story, the story of Norma Desmond. It does not have a dated feel to it. I think Gloria Swanson does a fantastic job in this role. It is so disturbing, and I forget, what is his name? Eric von
Stroheim.
Stroheim.
Yeah.
Fantastic job, and I think, to me, this is almost, again, kind of a, what is it? I guess art imitates life. We see this fading actress in this, this final role, and I guess she was trying to do that. What was the Salome?
Yeah.
And it's really scary, and it's really telling of the industry and what people will do. And one thing that really, the two scenes that I think really kind of just went, like creeped me out, was the scene of the dead chimp.
Yeah.
That is the most bizarre thing to walk into. And the second was when he finally succumbs to her charms, I guess, and finally seduces her and has sex with her. And I'm so glad they didn't show all of that. And just when he initially makes his advance towards her, and it's so amazing how, like, systematically he has just become this caged animal, so to speak. Pretty much the new chimp on a leash. And he can't get out of it. And he thought he was smart. You could tell he thought he was the one that had the upper hand. And in the end, he obviously did not. I thought the narration was interesting because at first it kind of starts with, if I'm not correct, him talking in the third person, like he's referring to himself in the third person, just some guy, a screenwriter. And then after that, it goes into the story, his story, and he does. I think he switches back and forth a little bit, but it's fantastic. It's very well done. I would watch it again. That's it.
And again and again and again.
Yeah, it's still true to this day. I think it's just so sad, the delusion, and you see the relationship that Eric von Stroheim has with this Madame. It was his former wife, and when you feed that ego, the delusion. It's just mind-boggling how someone can continue to nurture that delusion, and it just gets out of hand. So, yeah, I thought it was great.
I've worked on some things with a diva. She's not American. She's a Russian.
Mm-hmm.
And you do find yourself just saying yes to stuff that you don't want to do because they
I
just.
know which one you're talking about, too.
Yeah, you know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a crazy person. I actually like her. She's cool, but she's very hard to sometimes. But she's super famous in Russia, but nobody knows her here. But yeah, you find yourself just doing stuff that you didn't want to do at all. You're like, no, okay. Okay. But I wouldn't go as far as Joe Gillis goes here. So, you know. But Gloria Swanson brings me to one of my deep dark secrets. Is I've seen this movie. You know, I saw it probably 30 years ago when I was in my 20s, or 20, maybe 15, 16. I don't know. I saw it a long time ago, and even at that point, I'm like, Gloria Swanson's kind of hot. Like, what's the big deal? Just stay there and bang her and live in her mansion. Maybe she'll leave it to you. You know, maybe get her to go out with your friends and introduce her to somebody. Maybe get her to go to therapy. I don't know. It's great.
I don't think she's got a crazy that can be fixed.
No.
That's because she's so fixated on herself too that she wouldn't see anything she's doing as a problem. That's what she has like icons of herself all over the house, which the thing looks like a mausoleum. It's like a tomb. It's even got the pipe organ with its that's constantly playing because of the wind. It's
that whining. It's like
it's structured like a horror movie. Now, I have never found Norma Desmond attractive, Dave. I'm sorry, I can't be with you this. But there's this one great scene where they're watching her old movies, and I thought that's in the then they're actually watching. You know, Norma Desmond's watching an old Gloria Swanson movie, which was directed by Erich von Stroheim.
And it killed their careers.
Yeah, it killed their careers, and she got him fired off of that movie too. That's part of the fun. But she looks cute as a button there. I thought and she's engaged. And that's I think part of the great thing about this whole story is that, well, of course it's not autobiographical, and Gloria Swanson was not nuts.
No.
And in fact, she was about the third or fourth person they approached for it. But
and Montgomery Clift was actually cast as Joe Gillis for a while.
But that would have been interesting.
He went on a ski trip and then decided he didn't want to do it. So
I think I'm glad we got the performance from William Holden that we got. I am a little upset when I was looking at people's ages that William Holden in this movie is 3 years younger than I am now. And I have not become some sort of aging star's boy toy.
I think you have to actually leave your house in order for that to happen, though.
Well, you got to be chased by creditors, and I have good credit. It's one of my curses.
The curse of the Anglo-Saxon.
Yeah.
But it is a movie. It's kind of easy to say, well, this movie has layers, but it really does. It has the metatextual sort of looking at Hollywood through the people who don't matter as much anymore, except, of course, Cecil B. DeMille, who was still a working director at the time. And I think I haven't read too much about the movie, but I think it was a pain in the ass to work with.
A little bit, and even William Holden had not done much. I mean, he was like a rising star, and then fizzled for a while.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like, how about Bill Holden for this one? Like, okay. So it kind of it's you know, he's a screenwriter who hasn't had a hit in a while, it's very it's so meta. Yeah. And Gloria Swanson being almost her uncrazy self, her real self is just like Norma Desmond, but not so crazy. Ouch.
Dave just hit something.
I just banged something.
Oh, but you can see this now. I'm sorry, I forgot that we were on video and we're watched by millions.
Yeah.
Because we're so scintillated and have so much.
If you count the hair follicles on our listeners, it could be millions. Yes.
Well, if you count the mites, then we're getting up there. Like like eyebrow mites and the other sort of parasites that live on every person somewhere.
Oh,
and those mites have little things living on them.
Yeah, which tells you a lot about Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah.
Did you guys? I was telling Kimberly earlier that I hope she appreciated it because I could not find it streaming on Netflix, so I had to get up off the couch and go to the cabinet and bend over and pull out the DVD and open the DVD tray and put the DVD in the tray and push the close button and push the play button and look for the DVD remote, which I didn't know where it was. But then I
Oh,
found it
That's
and
a
I
lot of
watched it.
work.
It's a lot
I
of work, a lot of
appreciate
steps.
that.
oh my gosh!
But my DVD has a really cool extra stuff on it, like a making of Sunset Boulevard, which I watched, and it's got like a location map and stuff. And um, I think that's where I originally learned where his apartment is. It's right off of Ivar in Hollywood.
Yeah.
If you just go north on Ivar, it still looks exactly the same. I want to know who lives there in that
I've
apartment.
seen it. It's
It better
beautiful
be
how Michelle
yeah,
Phillips.
it better be a struggling screenwriter, but
Yeah, and that's one of the other striking things about the movie is how much more livable Los Angeles looks back then.
mhm.
It looks like a place you could get around. Of course, they had closed off streets for shooting and stuff, but everything was better in the past.
Schwab's drugstore is now the Sunset 5 Theater.
I was
That's where that
wondering
was.
what had replaced Schwab's. Really?
Yeah, that's where the Sunset 5 is, right at Crescent and Sunset there.
Oh, I did not know that. That's good to know. Yeah, it's a different time, but it's the same story. And that's the sad part about it. And I think what's crazy is I know these things. You
But
know,
Billy,
yeah.
well, I was going to say Billy
Still
Wilder. He's in my pantheon of badass writer directors.
Yeah.
Maybe seconded only by like Woody Allen's up there. Guys who write and direct their own movies that are classics.
Yeah.
He wrote this one with Charles Brackett, though. He wrote a few of his famous ones with Charles Brackett, and it reminds me of the collaboration of Woody Allen and Marshall Brickman, how they wrote Manhattan and Annie Hall together, and Manhattan Murder Mystery, I think. All really good ones. Well, of course, Manhattan and Annie Hall are they're way up there. They're like modern classics, and so did his best work with that guy, and so Charles Brackett and what's his name?
Billy Wilder.
Billy Wilder.
There we go.
Yeah, they had a little falling out afterwards, I think, so they didn't do too many films after that. I don't know if that was the last one, but they worked well together. And Billy Wilder's, wrote great dialogue. It's not even English is not even his first language. He was a German guy, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. It was very dark and disturbing. Like this is one of those movies that just stays with you. And I will agree, the way that it was directed, even the way the story is written itself, it pulls you in from the very beginning until the very end. And
yeah.
Yeah. But
You mentioned earlier the narration. I think it might be the first movie that's narrated by a dead person who's the lead character, and he's dead. That's really cool. It's a cool device. You're like, oh shit, he's dead. He's narrating from beyond the grave. They had a little scene at the beginning. They originally shot an opening of the movie where he's wheeled in on a gurney into a morgue, and all the corpses are talking to each other about, hey, how'd you die? But it got a bunch of laughs at the test screenings, and they said, okay, no, this is not what we're going for.
are you serious?
Yeah,
Really?
people were laughing hysterically. They said, oh, it's supposed to be ha ha ha, not blah. People were really falling out of their chair laughing. So they said, okay, we need to do some reshoots.
Well, even that scene in the pool, yeah, I mean, you can't, that's so iconic now, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, that was done with a mirror, too. They didn't have underwater housings for that, so they put a mirror underneath him and shot like a weird shot. Which the water had to be about 40 degrees to get that clear look to it. So poor Bill Holden has to float in there in 40-degree water. But yeah, I love the way he narrates it from the beyond the grave. It's great, and the dialogue is so snappy. He just writes such great dialogue. And Norma Desmond, everybody's got great dialogue, and it's like their own. I love the way she'll just, when he says, he's gonna go. She thinks he's got a girl. Oh, do you have a girl? He's something like that, and she's like, "Who is it? A car hop or a dress extra?" Great.
And her delivery of it, that's even better. Oh, her delivery of it, she's such a diva.
These movies that the pieces just fall together, and they just create such an awesome little snapshot of movie history that we all get to dip back into every so often. Because I watch it once a year, at least, I would think. I've probably seen it 10 or 15 times at least, so maybe once a year. Yeah. So. I
thought it was nice that the rain was not cliche. The rain kind of propelled the story. And usually whenever I see a scene where there's some kind of rain, it is so cliche and it's just so boring. And I thought it was just very subtly done. And if he did not move in, then he was just moving in further and further into this lion's den, I guess. Or not even a den, he was like this spider's web.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just so subtle how that was done. And I thought that was amazing.
But yeah, Norma Desmond, she is Hollywood, really.
Yeah.
I mean, she's everything. She's like the hoping against hope, the struggle. She's the I had it and lost it. She's I
Mm-hmm.
still have it,
Mhm.
and she's all about um, the person who's cast aside and used up. There's this,
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I like kind of the metaphor that they develop with the car. Because when Joe
oh
Gillis first
yeah.
gets to the
yeah.
car, it's on
Mm-hmm.
blocks, it's filthy, and they clean it up. And of course, the irony is when the studio is calling Norma Desmond, she thinks it's because
Mm-hmm.
of the terrible script, but it's because of their car. They're only interested in the relic.
The freak.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's an interesting looking thing. We can use it, in a background shot. That's all they
Yeah.
want.
We just want this
Mhm.
Yeah.
this old thing just to utilize it and then toss it back into your garage when we're done with it.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's interesting how, I mean, she really was like in her own world. I mean, she was no outside, there was no one from the outside talking to her, even though she had that weird circle of friends. That was the most bizarre thing as well.
Mhm.
But,
Yeah.
The
aside from
waxworks.
That waxworks.
the waxworks, exactly. She had no other interaction with the outside world. She had renounced all of the present, I guess, that time, the 1950s, which is interesting because she's kind of like that silent film. She is unable to move past it, just like her life. So she is like kind of just trapped in that little.
And he calls her Miss Havisham. The Great
Mhm.
Expectations at the beginning.
And what's so
Well, it's
cool?
just the whole house. It's like Miss Havisham. Yeah.
Yeah, the house was, but she is like Miss Havisham, really.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's really, and it's a performance that I think I can imagine a modern audience looking at it and saying that her performance, well, that's terrible. She's overacting everything.
No.
But of course, she is acting like she's silent. Every performance, you can see she always makes shapes with her hands when she when she settles down. She doesn't just sit down. She puts herself in a position, and and she always wears her high contrasty clothes. So,
You don't
yeah,
think Gloria Swanson's hot? She's 50 years old. She's 3
No.
years older than me in the movie.
Yeah.
This is
She
a lot
was
better than I do.
beautiful when she was younger, though. Those
makeup,
pictures of her.
Yeah.
makeup
She
looks the
held
hell
up
out.
well.
Huh?
Oh, she held
No,
up well.
Though that was that's one of the ironies too, is that she's very well preserved.
Yeah, exactly.
But she's not a young woman.
Mm.
You can't be 50 and be played. It just doesn't work.
Mm. Oh, which is again another reality. I mean, for women in Hollywood still.
If you're
too.
playing 50, you could maybe play people in their mid 30s, but there's no movies about women in their mid 30s,
Oh.
and they're
Jennifer
rarely
Aniston's playing 30-year-olds, and she's what, 56, 58?
Who is?
yeah, and
Jennifer
it don't
Aniston.
work.
Jennifer Aniston?
Oh no, I think her day's been done
And
now.
it does
Yeah.
not work. That's
Yeah.
How
And
old
it's
is
just so
she?
sad. Who? Jennifer Aniston or Gloria
Yeah,
Swanson?
Jennifer Aniston.
She's too old to be playing a 30-year-old. That's how we
Yeah, she was a stripper in that We're the Millers movie.
Yeah.
But she looked good. She looked good.
Well, if you cover her face, yeah, but
Oh,
oh,
Jesus.
wow. She's
no,
45.
I mean, she's 45 or she's 46 this year, or whatever. She's a
She's
mid
45
40-year-old.
this
She shouldn't be taking her clothes off like that. If that's all she has to get people into the seats, then
It's funny that and I like how in this film too is there's still that Joe Gillis he's just milking this because he needs the money. It's a big pile of crap. I like the line about how she's like, I had my horoscope read, and she read Mr. DeMille's horoscope too. I'm going to show the script. And he's like, has she read the script? You read your horoscope and his horoscope, and has she read the script?
that was
But when he sort of becomes her boyfriend a little bit, sort of. But when he's stepping out on her, it's to write a new movie. It's to write a story. It's something that they both care about, like a new, fresh, something that actually gets them excited about being writers again. Him and what's her name?
Betty Schaefer.
Betty Schaefer. Yeah.
Yeah, but he pretty much chooses this life that has no future, which is weird because he hasn't gotten any money from her, and he's not stupid. He knows he's not going to get anything from her.
Well, that's part of his problem, though, is that he thinks he's smarter than he is. he thinks he's taking her for a ride, but then he notices, no, she's given me things and not a plug cent.
Yeah.
It's film noir hero rule 101A. Yeah, you think he thinks he's smarter than he is.
Oh my goodness. And there's that scene where they're like, why don't you let Madame, if Madame is paying, then why don't you just, take the suit that...
The vicuna coat
Mhm.
instead of the camel's hair. Oh, God, that sounds
Oh,
great. And then he shows up at the party, the New Year's Eve party, with that big old flamboyant coat on.
oh,
He's like, what are
God.
you, Adolphe Monjou? Jack Webb. It's so funny to see Jack Webb as like a young swinging guy.
Yeah, it doesn't compute. Even then,
No.
That was the friend, right? The friend that was having the
Yeah,
party
the
that was
assistant director.
engaged to Betty.
Yeah, Artie.
and he was just 30 then, even though his face he looked 50.
Yeah, he still looks
He had
50.
an odd face.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was well done. That's all I got to say. If it still holds our interest after all those years, and why is it that a movie like this still is so well preserved or still well loved? I mean, it is a good movie, great, but what is it about this movie that's still, well, I guess it's still relevant today? Yeah. As
Well,
you said.
part of it is the tone of the thing,
Mhm.
because it has a cynical tone,
Yeah.
which is not as common for movies of the time.
Mhm.
It feels a little more acidic, a little nastier, a little more in time with modern. Though it's not like Billy Wilder's darkest movie. He made a movie the next year called Ace in the Hole.
Hmm.
I think is perhaps even more. So that's about media circuses, and it's the story there is Kirk Douglas plays a big city newspaperman who he kind of loses his job. He has to go to a small place, and there's a minor disaster that he turns into a major media event when a guy
Oh.
gets stuck in a mine.
Mm.
And that's a
Oh.
really cynical movie. That's a good one, Ace in the Hole, which he made
That's
next
interesting.
year. But similar, this and that, they have the same thing where they have a cynical view of things. They don't have any sort of romanticized aspects to them. Everybody who's engaging in relationships with each other, it's really highly transactional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, in movies, if you're lucky enough to create a sensational, spectacular character like Norma Desmond, your movie is gonna survive. She's like Hannibal Lecter,
Mhm.
She rises above the movie and with all of her
Yeah.
great dialogue and like the mannerisms and
Yeah,
stuff. And
sounds-
they stick with you,
Oh, yeah.
It's not possible to have a better performance, I think, than
Yeah.
that. She was just so great.
No, and William Holden, he did a great job too. Everyone did. I think they all did.
Mhm.
And it's just so disturbing. I think that's what it is. It stays with you. So it did its job.
Yeah, Hollywood is about fantasy, and fantasy is always stronger than reality in Hollywood, and that's what Norma Desmond lived. At the end, she escaped into fantasy.
Yeah, I love
It
this.
won. It won.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, look at how she made her final.
Mhm.
What is it? I'm ready for my.
It's a happy ending for
Yeah.
her. She thinks she's making her movie,
Mhm.
and she's gonna go and sit in a little padded room, maybe, which she's gonna think is her dressing room,
Oh,
You think that's what happened?
probably.
They wouldn't. Yeah.
that reminds me of this one thing in this movie that bugs the hell out of me. Is she says she got a revolver and she has a pistol with a magazine clip. It's not a revolver.
Ah.
She's an old lady. She didn't know the difference.
Yeah, well, still.
Not a gun owner.
Oh, and I love that scene when she shoots him. Did you see he does this twitch? It's such a nice stylized tumble.
It was very Shatner-esque.
It
Yeah, if you
was.
look at it
It
again.
was fantastic. I would watch that again. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I loved. It's so typical of screenwriters is that scene where he takes out those scenes that he thinks should be just thrown out, and then she puts them all back in, and it's so frustrating because does she want a well-made film or a well-written screenplay, or does she just want whatever she wants? And it's like, okay, fine, I'll just put it in.
Well,
And
anything
it's just-
more, yeah, she wrote it from her heart, so it all has to go in.
then
You can't cut anything out.
why does, but that's the thing, so in his mind it's like, why does he need to be there? But obviously he's not there for his screenwriting skills. He's there for other purposes. And just how creepy it is when he comes back to he comes into the house, and the second day all of his stuff has been moved in, that's just so invasive. It was just
Yeah, he is such a noir character. I mean, he's verbally fighting it But by the what happens right at the midpoint. Usually when the romance, when the lovers get together, well, this is the midpoint, and he goes, and she tried to kill herself.
Yes.
And she's got the bandages around her wrist, and he just goes in for it. It's like,
That's it.
wow, you really.
That was a pity.
He's going the dark road.
Yeah. Shoot. Yeah. Is that what you do when you're old? You slash some wrists to get some action? Is that
yeah, he had to check with the doctor. How much blood has she lost, doctor? All right, a couple of pints. We're good. We're good for throw a bone.
Oh, she would just hang on to him. It was so. Yeah, it's a disturbing movie. It's really great. It was. Yeah, she's up there with Hannibal Lecter for me. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't see the musical version of that. I heard it was great.
Oh, to me, I don't know. I think it just would tarnish it. I'm sure it was great, but it's not the same for me. This one's really. I don't want it to be a musical. Musicals are, yeah. But that's it. Did anyone else have anything to add? I mean, we can keep going on about how great it is, how much we love it, but.
I don't have anything to add. I think our weight has been put on it, but a lot of weight has been put on this over the last 60 years or so.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody that hasn't seen it might listen to this and go, "Huh, I'm gonna check it out."
If you haven't seen it already.
If you haven't seen it, maybe he doesn't get shot at the end. Maybe that didn't happen.
Yeah, I think that.
Well, if it was made today, he would at the end he would jump out of the pool and kill her or something after all the police.
Well, it would be an action sequence at the end. They would be hiding in the house. The Eric von Stroheim's character would attack him too.
Mm-hmm.
And it would
good.
be.
I like this.
Yeah. It's starting to look pretty good. Yeah, maybe they've got Becky Schaefer trapped in the basement.
Oh yeah.
And he's got to go rescue her.
Oh, we would have butchered it this day and age. Did you guys know, thanks to IMDb, that Mae West was supposed to play the role for Norma Desmond originally?
Yeah, but she wanted to rewrite the script. She gets final approval on the script, and Billy Wilder said, "No, thank you." She's already starting to change stuff, and he's like, "No, thanks." Yeah.
She thought she was too young to play a star too. That's crazy. No, but it's funny all the people that they went through, but I think they got the right people in the end. So.
Yep, yeah. We'll never know, but we kind of know.
Yeah, we do.
We kind of know. They got the right people.
Yeah.
I was just reading about the Alto Nido apartments. There's a Reuters news story. It was actually, since there probably is a screenwriter living there, because it says 91% of all LA homes are inhabited by struggling screenwriters. So he's probably is. And the other 9% are inhabited by illegal aliens.
Yeah.
92% of them are struggling screenwriters too. So there's a good chance.
And some Canadians.
Yeah, there's a good chance.
Got to root those out.
Yeah, we do.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's my
should put out the word on Facebook and ask if anybody knows who lives in that apartment, because I want to know who lives there.
I'm sure some if it's a struggling screenwriter, they should be renting it out or doing a tour, a Sunset Boulevard tour.
I would, yeah. I'd be like Forrest J. Ackerman and giving tours of that place. Although I'm sure they didn't shoot inside the apartment; it's just exterior.
Like a buck or two. Yeah.
You know who Forrest J. Ackerman is, you guys? I'm sure Ron does. I mean, Kent. But I went with Ron. That's why I was. But he's an old character. He used to be he's dead now, but he was what magazine was it that he did?
Famous Monsters of Filmland.
Famous Monsters of Filmland. He was just a notable, he was a guy. He's famous for being famous, sort of.
He's just a fan.
He was a super fan, but he became famous, and he would, but he had a gigantic collection of all kinds of movie memorabilia, and he would just give you a tour. You could go to his house, and he would give you a tour of his house, and it was really cool. And you can see all this stuff going through his basement, his garage, and he would show you all this great stuff. And I went with Ron and Armin one time. It was really cool.
That's
but he's dead now. I don't know who's got that collection.
Well, maybe some museum or something, so that other people can enjoy it.
I wonder. I have to figure out who's got his collection.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all right.
I
forgot to talk about. I saw Rise of the Planet of the Apes, or Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, Dawn.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about how fucking great that was, and I think Andy Serkis should get a best actor.
Oscar.
Best actor
Oscar.
Yeah, best actor Oscar.
It's a great movie. He's excellent, and it's a very good movie. Better than the first one, which was good too.
Okay.
I recommend it. Go check it out.
All right. Well, now that Dave's mentioned seeing a newish movie, we should announce that Our blessed Kimberly will not be joining us for a few weeks because she's got family stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But in a good way.
In a good way, yeah. Oh, yeah. That sounds like something terrible's happened.
No.
No, she's just visiting.
No, good things that happen. People are visiting family stuff. So,
Oh, yeah.
Dave and I, we're going to be turning up the testosterone.
Mm,
We're going to be
sure.
watching movies with with
I
no
need mine
crying.
turned up because I live with 3 girls, so I need mine turned up.
And
That's
so
how
we're gonna be starting out right with one of the few bright spots apparently on the summer horizon. Now summer's almost past, and that's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm. We're
Yeah.
gonna get on it. We're gonna put our weight on it, and we're gonna podcast about it.
That's right.
You guys have fun.
All right. You have fun, Kimmy, with mom and nephew and bro.
Yeah, thank you. I will.
Maybe we'll hook up, at that restaurant we talked about. Possibly, we'll see.
Yeah. We don't need to tell everybody because we'll get mobbed
We'll
by
get mobbed.
everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
No, yeah. If
We'll
I
keep it
say
secret.
show up at the Yakis on Alameda there in Burbank, it's just gonna be a fucking horror show.
It's real smooth.
That's
I
not
miss
it.
my Yankees.
Oh, that's
Aw.
exciting.
Poor Kent. No
Yeah,
Yakis up where he lives.
I gotta drink some in your honor, some bourbon and some Jim Beam. I think that's what I'm gonna do before I go to bed tonight.
Very good. I just got some Jim Beam Maple, which I gave as a gift to a friend of ours who turned 50.
Oh, wow.
And we know him. We all know
Yes.
who it is.
Yeah.
We met at this great restaurant up down in Newport Beach, or it might be in Costa Mesa. No, I think it's Newport Beach, but it's really cool old steakhouse that you take the elevator down to the basement, and it's called La Cave. Like Le
Oh.
Cave. It's super cool. Red leather seats, and it's all dark in there, and you get like a steak, and you get some wine. It's really cool.
Very cool.
But-
How was the maple? Because I don't know.
I
if
didn't
want
try it. I just gave it to
maple.
him, and I sent him off home with it. So maybe we can check with him and see how it was.
You're a good man. All right. All right.
All right,
Well,
everybody. Thanks for downloading once again. We had a big month last month. That was our biggest ever, I think.
Oh. Well,
So
good.
thanks a lot. And don't forget, my book is free, people, for a few days. I don't know
Yes.
if this podcast will be up, but you can still get it. But it's downloading like French toast. Not quite like hotcakes, but like French toast. Or maybe like Monte Cristos. It's selling like that. But a lot of downloads, so thank you, folks. And write a review if you liked it.
Mhm.
And it's called Whiskey Tango, A Whole Nother Kind of Spy Novel by D.W. Smith. Go check it out. Ken, you want to plug one of your books?
Nah.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh, all right. Well, we have been the Pretentious Movie Snobs. Well, Kent and I will catch you next week or two, and we'll see Kimberly maybe a couple times after that.
Yeah.
So, bye-bye, y'all. Good night.
See you later. Bye.